Cool. So this is gonna be shit.
We met at the summer school dance. I was 16. Across the hall she returned my glance, so I crossed between. I wanted something, sure got something.
Like very deliberate.
Welcome to your very first interview for Child at Heart.
Oh!
To my knowledge, this is your first interview for Child at Heart. So go ahead, give the audience a brief overview of the album, the songs, the recording process, the release process. Pretty much anything you'd find in the first paragraph of a Wikipedia article.
Sure. Okay, so the album is Child at Heart, and that's one of the track titles as well. It's the 4th track on the album. It's been a long time in the making. There are 12 tracks in the album, and 10 of them are entirely new recordings. One of them is an older one that was good enough to be on there, and one of them was in part an older one that was sort of like spruced up.
Yeah.
So if we're not counting If It's True, which is the older one, then it's been in the works since I suppose early 2016. Is that correct?
And say that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of how old the songs are on it, though, there's really a range there. The earliest one, Ready Freddy, I wrote in, I want to say 2008, 2009, and some of the later ones are from 2016. Are they? Are there any from 2016 on there?
Is Rainy Day a 2016 joint?
No.
Was that 2015?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, this is gonna have to be edited pretty.
Oh, dude. You think I'm not gonna put the raw audio on?
The radio? I mean, it's a very big question, but it was recorded with the help of my good friend George Dean, who you may have heard of. He did the audio engineering, and I'd say co-produced.
I'll take it.
And
I'm George, by the way.
We recorded a lot of it at the UBC Recital Hall, where George worked for a time, and then he did the like post-production and stuff.
That's fine.
So I've recorded stuff before, and this is a lot better quality than stuff that I've done in the past. It features other musicians. Shout out to Jalen Bay, Mickey Lee Smith, Kyle Cardigan on the cajon, George Dean on the piano for Cinnamon and Cloves.
Oh yeah, way in the back.
Yeah.
I also did the Ebo.
Oh yeah, the Ebo, it's true. Just having those other instruments in it, especially percussion, just makes a difference between it sounding like a demo and sounding like a real recording. And it's really cool to hear these songs as proper recordings. And I mean, part of me wants to say to hear them the way that I can hear them in my head. That's true in some ways, but in other ways it's not, because these other musicians also brought their own flavor to it. Yeah. So it's better than I can hear in my head. That's what I'll say.
All right, cool. During track 11, in my own words, you sing the line, "I've learned 100 songs, but I've written more."
I do.
With such an extensive catalog of original music going into your first album, how did you manage to whittle your selection down to these 12 songs?
Good question, George. Originally it was going to be 14 tracks, with 2 more that I suppose will be on the next album. But the ones that had to be on this one were a lot of songs that I frequently play at open mic that a lot of people know. And it's true that I have written over 100 songs, but some of those are much better than others. Most of those old ones that I wrote in high school are not album material, although Ready Freddy is one of those. And that one is a good one, I think. But yeah, the ones that ended up going on the album were just the ones that I thought would work well together as well. Because I wanted to provide a few different sort of flavors of me. I've got my sort of folky acoustic songs. I've got the more like 60s, 70s rock style, and I wanted to just sort of encompass that whole thing.
Solid. Flavors of Me sounds like a John Legend album.
It really does.
By the way, could I interest you in I was about to say gummy bear. Could I interest you in a ginger ale?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Do you also have a gummy bear?
No. But clearly, you know, I know from knowing you, from having been friends with you for so long now, probably a little longer than we've been recording the album for.
I thought you would say a little longer than we've been recording this interview.
You can't let the audience know that. We've got to maintain some air of illusion. According to my count,
Okay.
very subjective stuff, there are only 3 songs on Child at Heart out of 12 that are definitely not about love interests.
Let me see if I can figure out what you're talking about. Do fictional love interest count?
I counted fictional.
Okay,
love
so
interests.
the songs that you're talking about then are In My Own Words, Ready Freddy, and you're saying are definitely not, so ones that are debatable aren't ones that you're thinking of then, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So then the other one is Las Vegas Too Long.
Exactly.
Ooh, almost like I know these songs.
Oh, dude. Almost. You seem to be a good historian when it comes to the Shondells. Based on that, I assume that you glean a lot of your lyrical content from either real world or hypothetical relationships. Do you have any other notable sources of lyrical inspiration?
I'd say my songs are probably like pretty 50-50 for whether they're based on real experiences or just like a fictional idea. Ginger ale.
Keeping that in?
So there are none like this present on Child at Heart, but sometimes I write songs that are purely like wordplay that don't mean anything. That was one of the ones that was originally planned on being on Child at Heart. It's called The Carpenter, and that's a song that it's just lines like wait, there's no sunset in your eyes, there's dark stormy skies, or later like stop, there's no flowers in your hair, only serpents are there. Like they're just it doesn't mean anything at all, but it means something relative to itself. Like there's a pattern in the there's a method to the madness. Songs kind of like I'm the Walrus or Dig a Pony, like very inspired by the sort of lyrical abstraction of John Lennon.
Yeah.
So I do write like that sometimes. In terms of other real world inspirations that are not love, I'll write something just based on an experience. And most of the time my songs based on experiences are about love or something similar. But yeah, sometimes something will be a strong enough experience to just bring that.
As you can read about on Songwriter Circle.
Yeah. The dash in there, songwriter-circle.com.
Good to know. Good to see the man behind the man. The man behind the man. The man behind the myth, as it were. Alright. I have some fun questions for you. Like, kind of fun questions.
Oh,
they're
good.
still
I like kind of fun questions.
They're relevant, but they're fun.
Good.
If you had to perform another artist's album front to back for example, for a tribute concert or something, which artist and which album would you choose?
Ooh, okay. So, as you know, I'm not big on doing covers. One of the songs on my album, In My Own Words, is about that. I generally like to do original stuff. So if I was doing another artist's album, I would pick someone local, or someone that I knew personally, that I could like play for them or something. For instance, Kyle Cardigan, I learned 3 of his songs to play at an open mic, and I enjoyed doing that. Or I might pick songs that I felt like I could change a lot, like bring myself into them, and instead of just learning them, something that maybe was pop music that I could bring into being more like more rocky or folky. So if I was doing, if I don't do the cop-out answer and pick just like Kyle or you or someone like that, then maybe I would do a Lady Gaga album because I can make that sound very different, and I think she's a very good songwriter. Mm-hmm. But that's definitely not the same sort of question as like songs that I just learned for myself, because I'll learn songs that are by like the Beatles or Simon Garfunkel or something, but I would feel weird about playing them as a tribute album or something like that.
Okay, fair enough. That was a very interesting answer. I could have sworn you were going to say a Beatles album, but that just goes to show there's more layers to this onion. What would be your dream venue to play and why?
Ooh, okay. Well, okay, I think it'd be super cool to play the Royal Albert Hall in London.
Yeah.
A lot of very famous shows have happened there. A lot of like bigger unions and stuff, and it seems like such a great like historic venue, so I'd pick that.
Okay. Cool. Good answer. By the way, if you ever get a wrong answer, I'll let you know. As of right now, today,
yes,
Sean Bales on June 22nd, 2017. Could you describe your ideal live setup? So I'm curious, you're a man with a plan and an album. Gotcha. You have got an album, but so far have not, I guess, played it live as it appears on the album.
That's true.
So, if your ideal band, your ideal setup, you could have a fucking kazoo if you wanted. Go for it.
Okay, so when I do the release show for the album, which will, the plan right now is for early August. By the time this interview is out, I'm not sure if that'll have already happened, or, but I don't know your plan, George, for when you're releasing this. I don't even know there's going to be an interview.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But so when I play that show, I'm planning on just doing a solo acoustic show, because a lot of the songs, some of my songs cannot be done justice that way, but enough of them can, and it's the way that I'm most comfortable performing right now, that I feel like that's the way to go for that. But I do like the idea of having a backing band, and like having a bass player, having a drummer, and another guitarist. In some cases, not all the songs need that, but I think that could do a lot of the songs more justice. So, in a perfect world, if I was playing a show, I would have, I would have a full band for some of the tracks, and then for some of them, I would do the thing where the rest of the band sits down, and I sort of go out with a chair like closer to the audience, and just play some like softer acoustic stuff. and then everybody takes out like their phone lights and yeah.
Oh, good. I admire that you have that image in your mind that clearly shows ambition, and I respect that. Speaking of, I guess, common tropes of the modern concert-going experience.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the modern encore that isn't really an encore?
I feel like the modern encore is kind of like tipping. As a band, like, playing a stadium show, if they don't, like, everyone accepts that the modern encore is kind of weird, but if they don't, because it used to be something that would happen if it was like inspired or deserved, and now it just always happens.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't happen, then people are disappointed.
Yeah.
Like tipping. So, like, for instance, when I saw the Black Keys, which was a very good concert, like they played their act and they left, and it was the Turn Blue World Tour, and they hadn't played Turn Blue, so it was very obvious it was going to be an encore. And I think it's sort of a shame that it's gotten to that point, because it would be cool if we didn't expect an encore, and when you got one it was really exciting. But yeah, I don't know what to do about that.
Well, it starts with one person to make a change. We should not have drank
the ginger.
fucking beverages.
This is like, I feel like this is extra carbonated ginger.
Oh yeah.
This is like, this is coming up way more than I would.
Yeah. For the purposes of the transcription, after this question, I've written sarcasm in brackets, just so you know. Just in case I don't inflect the sarcasm hard enough.
Okay, so let the record show.
Let the record show. Has your opinion about pitch correction changed at all since we started this album?
I'm not a fan of pitch correction. I mean, I don't really blame people for using it. A lot of my musical influences are from a much earlier time when you just played the music, and the music came from instruments and vocals. And I don't like the idea of something being overproduced, and it being pitch corrected just seems to take away from it being me that's singing it. It makes it less real to me, and I know that's maybe a trope. People say, oh well, if like this isn't real, then like what about like putting reverb on after the fact or something like that? And sure, maybe it's pretty arbitrary, but I'm not a fan of pitch correction for myself.
Fair enough, and I admire that you feel that way and stuck by your guns throughout the process. In fact, I am willing to believe that. Do you recall during? This is how I saw it. During the process, not Ready Freddy, Night Eyes. Some of the effects we put on the vocals to try to make it mesh together, like some of the chorusing, like probably maybe some phasers and stuff. I'm not sure. I think when we started doing that, which was ultimately a byproduct of not using the pitch correction, I think that took Night Eyes from fucking 60 to 1 million. Your choice and your, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Integrity?
Yes, your integrity. Your integrity with not wanting to use pitch correction at all is what pushed us into the realm of, like, true potential, I would say. So, thank you. Thank you for making your album better.
No problem. Thank you for making it better as well.
You're welcome. Now that your first album is done, what are your plans? Are you gonna be touring? Are you gonna be focusing on music videos? Are you jumping right back into the next one? Are you bankrupt now that you've independently printed all of your vinyl?
I'm definitely going to be making a loss on those, but I think I can sell enough of them to like, justify the personal cost of the rest of them, and I'm excited to have that. But in terms of what's next, so I'll do the release party. I'd like to jump back into playing more shows, and especially when I'll have something physical to bring to the shows in the CDs and the vinyls. I would love to do some kind of tour. It's that's something I'll have to think about. Tours are usually started by some kind of popularity that's already there, and I don't have that kind of following. I won't be jumping right back into recording just yet. It's up in the air for what's next, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you think the next album will also take 2 years? How do you feel now that you have a direct competitor in the Vancouver independent interview scene?
Oh great. I'll be able to step up my game.
Second class question. It's not even really a question. It's like a thinly veiled statement.
Okay.
With a question mark at the end.
Okay.
What if I told you that I deliberately left an Easter egg somewhere on Child at Heart?
Ooh. Interesting. And it's not auto-tune, right?
It's not auto-tune.
Okay.
I promise it was nothing that you wouldn't have liked.
Okay, then I think that's cool.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to look for that.
Yeah. I can tell you now, you're probably never gonna hear it. Because it was put in, like, in the song that it is in, it was in there quite near the beginning of the actual mixing process for the song,
okay.
and you never heard it.
Huh.
But if I were to open up the project now and solo the track it's on, you'd probably freak the fuck out. But I'm not going to do that, of course.
Okay.
It's a little Easter egg. That's something for you to think about.
Huh. But I would never find it if I went looking for it?
You haven't found it yet. Maybe if you went looking for it, but the fact that I'm not going to give you any hints at all, maybe for your birthday I'll give you some hints.
Okay, that is fun, I like that.
Yeah, alright. Just trying to think if there's any extra ad-libbed questions I can throw in here. This has been a pretty thorough interview though. So we talked about ducks.
Have we?
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy as fuck schedule to come sit down and talk to me. I really appreciate it. Oh, that is the other ad-lib question. Do you know the release date yet?
Okay, so the release date, I think, potentially will be August 12th, but that's not set in stone.
Well, TMZ, you heard it here first. Sean Dale's Child at Heart, August 12th, maybe.
Yeah.
Stop now.
Finally, where can the good people of the world find you? And do you have any closing thoughts?
You can find my current music on soundcloud.com/Sean-Dales-music. And when my music comes out on Spotify and iTunes, then you can find it. Well, I don't have my account there, but it'll be under Sean Dales.
Certainly will. Okay. And I will. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
Yeah. Pleasure interviewing you.
Get the fuck out of my house.
As new regrets move up my mind, that's been the theme of all these dreams. The next one comes to push the last away on this rainy day. this rainy day.